is going to go over everything with you guys, everything you need to know. There's going to be a presentation on the screen. We will email it out to you guys afterwards, so don't be too concerned for those of you who are signing in through Zoom. If you can't see everything totally, Jason is going to go over everything and we will send it out afterwards. So no worries there. And I will be monitoring the Zoom chat. If you guys have questions, please just type it into the chat because we cannot hear you. And we will make sure that we get all of your questions answered. And Jason,
cool.
Take it away.
Well, hi guys. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. So for some people that may not know, I'm Jason. I work with Colin Campbell on his team. I'm here just to help you guys out with some pre-construction, new construction. I know it's not as easy as it may seem, and it's not really the same as doing a resale, like a resale transaction. What I'm going to start with is I'm going to go through a few things that will talk and help you with your buyers, possible sellers for assignment sales, let you know what you should be looking for, what you should really be talking about when going into it. Yeah, so let's get started. My first question though for everybody is, has anybody done a pre-construction sale before or even dabbled in it? Tried to? Tanaz, any experience you want to share?
Well, I kind of like dabbled in it, never went through, but it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is, right? And like the biggest thing I like to tell people is when you're doing pre-construction, when we're going out showing homes to our buyers, you're tangibly showing them something they could see, they could look at it. When you're selling pre-construction, you're selling them a vision. You need to understand how to sell a vision versus an actual object you can see. You need to tell them why this is going to be great in 5 years, what's going to happen, what's the future development. You need to understand what's happening and why this is a great place for them to put their money. Stevie, it's not working, the keyboard. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so just getting into it, what is Precon? Pre-construction is when a builder has permits in place and approve a site plan ready to build either a single building, a neighborhood, or a master plan community. A master plan community can be when they're building multiple condos on one parcel of land. So it could be 100 acres and they're building 4 towers and a couple multi-use things along with it. So they call those master plan communities. Example could be downtown Toronto, ICE condos. It's about 4 of them. I know it's the worst condo downtown, but they do all share amenities and things like that. And that's usually what a master plan community would be. And essentially you're purchasing the rights to a contract. You're not going to be purchasing something, close it and move into it in 3 months unless it's an assignment. But yeah, so that's usually what it is. I mentioned like, yeah, you're buying a vision and you're sort of just purchasing 3D renderings and those things. Still not working. Okay. Yeah, so then going into it, when you're talking with your buyers, what should you be really talking with them about? It really comes down to simple buyer appointments as you would if you're talking with the residential buyer right now. You need to show them that you've worked with builders in the past, you have relationships, or there's relationships established at your office, or you could be somebody that is hired directly by a builder. We have a few agents at our office that have started to do this. Michelle Terzis, Mike Russo, they work with smaller builders and they've started to work and they're hired directly by them. A platinum partner with the builder. So what does that mean? A platinum partner really means is you've done units, you've sold units for this builder and they have so much trust and faith in you now that they call you that, hey, Dylan, you sold 5 units at our last project. Our new project's coming out. We'd like you to sell 5 units. Here's 5 units specifically for you and your team. That's what basically you're looking to get to, is where you have allocated units and you could guarantee your buyer what they're looking for, first or second choice. And honestly, what you got to be doing your due diligence and tell your buyers, interview multiple agents, let them do it. Still protect yourself. Do the things that you would do as a regular listing appointment, regular buyer appointment, and handle it with the ethical manners that we all do at KW, right? And then after that, you just got to establish your criteria. What your criteria could be is, what are they looking for? Are they looking for an investment property, or are they looking for a property that they're looking to move in themselves in 2 years? Maybe they have a plan of doing a custom home, or they want to upgrade their home and they know in 2 years that's what they want to move into. Location, budget, type, freehold or condo, and exactly timing is the biggest one. When do they want to take possession? What you're going to find in pre-construction, there's a lot of pre-construction investors, and the smartest investors, they have to time themselves correctly. I'm currently facing a problem with one of my clients who's purchased 5 units that are all closing this year, and now he's scrambling and he needs to sell them. When you're working with investors, when you're working with clients, you got to make them aware of these things, because we have Haley right here. She can let you know how tough it is to close 5 properties in 1 year. It's not the easiest thing, and you never want to put yourself in a position, or your buyer in the position, where they purchase multiple units in one project, and now all of a sudden they can't assign them and they can't close them, and they've basically lost $100,000 because they gave it to the builder. Never put anybody in that position. Next slide, please. So another thing is, what is a deposit structure? A lot of people will ask you, what's a deposit structure? What entails within a deposit structure? Generally, a condo pre-construction deposit structure is 20% down, extended within a 500-day period. So that usually means, for example, it could be, hey, you're going to get $5,000 with the bank draft to the builder, and in 30 days, you're going to balance that out to 5%. 180 days later, you're going to give another 2.5%. 300 days later, another 2.5%, and sort of so on. Usually you're looking at 15 to 20% down within a 500-day period for a condo, a 300-day period for a freehold. Why is there a difference between them? Freeholds generally get built quicker than a condo will. A condo could take anywhere from 4 to 7 years. A freehold turnaround time could be 1 year. So that's the biggest difference. And exactly like I said, condos take longer to build. Best general rule of thumb I tell everybody is, be prepared to pay 5% of the purchase price within the first 30 days. It's actually very rare. Maybe 1% of the time you'll get a pre-construction project that doesn't expect you to pay 5% within the first 30 days. But what's great about deposit structure is it allows them to prepare financially during the time span of the pay period. They don't have to have 20% down right away. They can have, let's say, 10% and know I could have another 10% within 400 days, and I could just work on it this way. So deposit structures are really flexible for a lot of us that have first-time home buyers, millennials, or people that don't have all that money right away up front. It's a great option for them, and it's very useful for them. So what we also have is next slide, please. So what we're talking about is, what are pros and cons of pre-construction investments? And these are what you could relay to your buyers. And some of the pros could be, buy at today's price for tomorrow's value. Really, like, if you go buy a condo right now, they're going to price it at what they're selling condos at downtown. Average price per square foot is about $1,300 to $1,400 a square foot downtown Toronto. They're going to aggressively price it at $1,350 a square foot. As we all know, real estate continues to appreciate. So let's say in 4 years, it's $1,500 or $1,600 a square foot downtown Toronto. All of a sudden, they haven't even got a mortgage and they've already made $200,000 on that investment, right? Which is a great thing for a lot of people. More flexibility with less initial capital. Again, like, you're only putting really 5% down within the first 30 days, and you're just really paying, like, you could say it's like just a mortgage payment. You're paying it every few months. Got to put this down towards it, but it's way more flexible. And you could, let's say you have $400,000. Instead of buying 4 homes, you could spread that $400,000 into 6 units or 6 detached homes, depending on how you really how you're really flexible with it. A pro for buyers, maybe not for us as agents, is a 10-day cooling period. That allows buyers, you signed the contract, you gave the bank draft, it gives them 10 days that, hey, you know what, let's go talk with our financial advisor, let's go talk with our mortgage broker, let's make sure this all adds up. Can we do this? Will we be prepared in the next 3 years to close this? Let's just say something comes up and they can't. Well, they have the 10-day cooling period where they could back out of the deal with no obligation, full refund, all their money back. So again, it's good for your buyers, not the greatest for us, because it's the most anxious time you're ever going to have as a pre-construction agent, is that 10-day cooling period. And customizability. So when you're purchasing a condo, you get to choose finishes, or you can upgrade your luxury finishes. When you're building a home, you could choose exactly what tiling you want, what colors you want, all that thing. Whereas you're buying a resale home, obviously you're going into it and they may be minor details, what the paint color is or what the tile colors are. But for some people, it really does make a big difference. As we know, some people can be quite picky. So people like that, they have the option to choose exactly what they want. So what could be some cons? Because there's always downfalls towards something, and the biggest one is unexpected cost. So when you're purchasing that pre-construction project, you got to remember HST in most cases is not included, and that will be accounted for later. We have development and levy fees. Development levy fees, like a levy is a sales tax required or collected for maintenance of outdoor common areas such as parks. So again, you know what I mean? Like in a master plan community, there's going to be a whole bunch of other things. There's going to be a mini park there. There's going to be fountains, those type of things. You're paying those levy fees for like the builder to give towards the municipality for what the taxes may be. Development fees can be different as well. They're collected to help pay for the cost of infrastructure required to the province, municipal services, roads, transit, water, sewer. So especially in like a neighborhood, if you're building 300 homes, you're gonna have to service those roads. You're gonna have to do all those things to make the sewage come in there. So the development fees go into that. For a condo, as you build higher, you need to do a lot more electrical, a lot more plumbing, those type of things. You're paying development fees for those. Development fees for condo can be a little bit better, as they basically will cap it at $10,000 for lower floors and $15,000 for higher floors. Development fees sometimes for freehold can take a lot more of a toll, and sometimes it could cost you up to $50,000. So be prepared for those type of things. And occupancy fees, this only relates to condos, not freeholds. So what occupancy fees mean is the condo could be 90% done and the builder can give you the keys. Hey, you're more than welcome to move in, but you're going to be basically paying rent for 3 to 4 months to the builder until it's 100% complete and title can be transferred over. So you're essentially, for those 3 to 4 months, you're losing out on your equity that you could have built towards your mortgage. So those can be small downfalls that you should always make sure your buyers are aware of. Another one could be delays. And obviously with COVID and how it's been, I think we all know and everyone's seen that delays are bound to happen. Before COVID was even ever a thing, delays were always consistent with builders. And with COVID now and everything going on, they become the biggest prominent thing within pre-construction. There's supply back order, there's lockdowns, there's labor strikes, construction delays, anything could really come up, right? Mortgage challenges can also be another problem. Like I said, like if you don't plan yourself out correctly, or as we know, we're in a historic time of all-time low interest rates. We don't know where interest rates are going to be in 5 years. And are you going to be able to really afford that interest rate or that monthly payment when it comes down to it in that 5-year period? And again, like construction, like when you're moved in, there's probably still going to be a bunch of construction going on around you for a couple of years. You won't have the peace of mind that you're looking for. So there's things that you need to be aware of and make your buyers aware of as you go on. I don't know if this will work. No, yeah, please. So what's another thing? What to look for in pre-con investment? And this would go for you if you're buying or when you're presenting this for your buyers, right? Builder reputation. That's the number one thing I look to tell people is do your homework. And the best homework to do with that builder is how many canceled projects did they have in the last 10 years? Rule of thumb says 1, you can let slide. Anything after 2, that's a red flag. If a builder has more than 2 canceled projects in the last 10 years, that's because they don't have a good team behind them. Cancel project means like they didn't plan for what the appreciation was going to be. They didn't know what was going to happen. And usually a builder that has more than 2 canceled projects, they won't even be rated by Tarion as AAA. There's 3 ratings that Tarion gives. It's A, AA, AAA. So AAA builders are obviously the best builders. Exactly. Again, going back into it, you need to look in location. You got to figure out what's the future development. For example, if you were to go tell your client today, where are you going to be making your next purchase? What are you looking for? If they're looking for appreciation in the next 5 to 10 years, let's say they're looking at the GTA, you guys may want to write this down. Areas would be like Vaughan, Pickering, Oshawa, Ajax, Reason being, or Innisfil, Barrie, biggest reason being for these type of things is these areas have so much coming towards them. If you look at Vaughan, if you guys are familiar with Vaughan, the Dave and Buster's Plaza over there, they're literally getting rid of every single component in that plaza except for the IKEA building. It's going to be 17 condos, 4 commercial buildings, Central Park, recreation center, a whole bunch of other things that I can't even remember off the top of my head. But when you know that, you can present that to your buyer and explain to them that, hey, it doesn't look like it's going to be really anything right now, but in 5 years, if you could have bought in Brooklyn when Brooklyn was a shit show, you would have bought it, right? Mind my language. Demographics, again, going right back into it, you need to know what the demographics are, what's really happening, who's moving there. Again, going back into Vaughan, we know that most of the people that are moving into Vaughan are young professionals like us who cannot afford downtown Toronto, but they need to be close to a TTC station to get them to work, to get them to Union Station. TTC is there now. It's a 45-minute train ride to Union Station, and a lot of the young professionals are moving into areas like these, which have allowance of them to get to their places of work. Another place going into that would be, again, Pickering, Oshawa, Ajax, because of the new GO line that's come there, and that GO line is going directly to Union Station as well. Pickering has a new casino coming, so as it's your responsibility and your job as a pre-construction agent to know what's happening in that area. Why is it a good place for us to buy? Like, I can go just sell any random pre-construction project at Scarborough and flip a few units, but is it going to bring me more buyers or more referrals in the long run? Because that person just bought at $500 a square foot. In 4 years, it's worth $550 a square foot. Not really worth it to put your money away that long, right? Closing, again, ensure that you're able to close on your mortgage no matter what happens. And that really comes down to talking to the right people, talking with your mortgage broker and your financial advisors, because they're going to be the people that are going to be able to predict at least 3 to 4 years down the road and let you know that, you know what, I think it's a feasible option for you.
Sorry, just need to interrupt really quickly. For those of you guys who are on Zoom, we realize that the slides are reversed. I've tried switching it on Zoom a couple of times. We can't actually reverse it on the projector, so that's why it's coming up that way. So please know that Jason is talking through everything, and we will send you a copy of the slideshow afterwards, okay? So just listen as best as you can for now, and we'll get you a copy afterwards.
Sorry if I'm talking fast too. Just let me know if I need to slow it down. All right, cool. Next slide, please. So now getting into it, you've probably heard this term. I just want to ask, does anybody know what an assignment is? Tanaz, again, I'm going to pick on you. So what is an assignment?
So before the completion date, the people who've already purchased, for whatever reason, if they want to get out of their contract, they can assign it to someone else. And you would have to have that in your contract from the start, otherwise you would
Exactly what you said. Just to repeat that. So an assignment is when you purchase a pre-construction project, you've bought the rights to the contract, but for some reason or whatever, you've decided that I don't want to close this unit and need to sell it. Firstly and foremost, when you're purchasing that unit, you need to make sure your contract allows you to do an assignment. There's builders out there that won't allow assignments, and that's because they don't want investors to come flipping their units. They want end users. But if assignments are allowed, what does it entail? Sometimes it might entail $10,000 or $15,000 fee to the builder, or assignments may be free for builders that are looking for a lot of investors to come in and they want to really entail towards that. Now, an assignment fee, also what really you're getting into it, what to know when selling an assignment is, as there's the burst strategy or there's a strategy for doing other things, there's an assignment strategy that investors use. Investors will go buy multiple units that all have free assignment or $10,000 fee assignments, and they'll be 4 years out, 5 years out, but they'll consistently start assigning those units as soon as it's available. And basically what the strategy is you're contracting yourself to these contracts, you're getting them at a great price, and 2 to 3 years down the line, you're selling them for a profit. You're not closing a mortgage. You're not going through those financial struggles of like having to pay the development fees, the levy fees, and you're literally pocketing 100, 200K every time. It's a great strategy, but it's a strategy you need to be aware of that it's not always going to go your way. There may be an opportunity where you need to assign a unit and you're not able to assign it. Always be prepared for the worst, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I also just heard from people are coming to, oh, that's what that's that the government's starting to be aware of this practice.
Yeah.
We're gonna start looking more carefully so they can, of course, take their hand in our pocket.
Of course. Yeah. And people that are selling assignments now, a lot of them are starting to face capital gains tax. I like she just mentioned, there is conversations internally of, do we tax it even higher? Like, what do we do? Like, obviously the government always wants to dip their pocket in something. But yeah, like the basic things is you need to look into when you're purchasing. If it's with an investor, you need to make sure that they're purchasing a place that assignment sales are allowed. What are the associated assignment fees? I usually say it's best to say under $10,000, but even getting to the $15,000 threshold, it's okay. If you're making $200,000, what really is $15,000 for you to pay? You're going to end up pocketing about $120,000. The biggest one, though, people don't ever realize is, yeah, they may say an assignment is allowed, but are they going to allow you to list it on MLS? Builders don't want MLS assignment sales. Reason being, you're going to start competing against them because you're going to start listing those assignments on MLS, and they're simultaneously trying to sell their phase 3, quote unquote, and they're selling the same units, and you're selling that unit for $50K under what they're doing. So they may just say, my language, but screw you, that no, you're not going to be allowed to sell it without MLS. And that's okay. We've done it. We're internally, our team is doing it right now where we're selling assignment sales, not going on MLS, but it's a challenge. It's a lot bigger. How big is your network? Where are you posting these type of things, right? So you need to be prepared for those type of challenges as well. So what are we getting into now? It's usually in the language of the contract. So best thing to do actually is, the builder will already have a reputation. So the best way for me to put it, a builder like Center Court, it's a downtown Toronto builder, they will allow assignment sales to go on MLS after a certain point. So usually what you could do is you could use precedent, because the precedent will usually just stay the same from builder to builder. Tridel notoriously does not allow MLS listing for assignments. But again, like if you have a big enough network, that shouldn't be a problem, but it is what you should make your buyers aware of, that, hey, if we're going to assign this and it's not allowed on MLS, it's not going to take the typical 2 months to sell it. It might take us 4 to 6 months, right? So those are the things. Now, what are some pros of selling an assignment? It's okay. I could just cover that. It's not that big of a deal. So the big thing is get your deposit back. Like you could put 50K deposit in 2 years, you could get that back plus more. You avoid land transfer tax. You avoid closing costs. You avoid the levy fees. Like selling an assignment allows you to avoid a lot of those unexpected costs that we talked about on the previous slide. But now, what's some cons of selling an assignment? It's a smaller pool of buyers. That's the biggest thing. It takes a lot of upfront money for a person to buy an assignment. Obviously, they'll get a mortgage back. Haley can probably cover into it. They will get their mortgage and they'll get a portion of that money they're paying upfront back, but you need to have that money upfront to do it. And then can you advertise on MLS? Going back into that, if you can't advertise on MLS, it could be a challenge for you as an agent. And how are you going to sell this? And you always have to be prepared for the risk of it not selling. Because the biggest issue of it, the reason of it not selling is going back into the smaller pool of buyers, but also buyers see that, hey, he bought this for 400,000 and he wants me to pay him 650,000. Are you crazy? And we have those buyers, and you always face challenges like that. It could be difficult to determine true market value for an assignment. Usually, like doing a CMA for a home that we're about to list in this market, it's wonky too, but like it's a lot harder to really like nail down an exact price of what you should be selling in an assignment at. Usually what you're looking at is what did the last phase sell for, and you could put appreciation and things like that, but it's never going to be a specific number that you could pinpoint it down that it should sell at this. And then exactly, if the buyer fails to close because you didn't prepare for the worst, you could be held liable and you could lose out on a lot of money for that. So always be prepared for those things.
So we just have 2 questions. Sorry, we missed them on kind of the last slide. You might have already touched on it a bit, but I just want to make sure. So we've got a question. Someone said, how do taxes work when considering an assignment after for capital gains?
As capital gains for the seller.
Yeah, okay. And then so someone said, wouldn't that have capital gains? So you
Yeah, it does have capital gains implications. Sorry, I probably skimmed through it. Yeah, but yeah, it does have capital gains implications. It's always the best thing to do, especially going into it. Talk to your accountant, talk to your mortgage broker, and it's usually a team thing. It's not just down to the agent. Lawyers too. Lawyers are the biggest ones. Now, what to know when buying an assignment, going back into it, it's a large initial investment. When selling an assignment, let's say it's bought it for 400,000, selling it for 600,000. Some sellers may demand, hey, we want that $200,000 upfront into a trust account. You know what I mean? We want to deposit all that, and then you can mortgage the rest, figure that all out for yourself. That's a lot. When you're buying a residential resale, like the norm is 5% deposit goes into the trust, not the full 20% going into the trust. So it's about, does that person have that money ready? Are they okay to put that money away for 4 to 6 months and not have access to it, or have like, a safety net in case they need it? And then going back really into it, I'm going to keep emphasizing it, is speak to a mortgage broker and lawyer. These things are very important. There's lawyers out there that literally specifically all they do is assignment sales. There's mortgage brokers that is exactly understand what to do for these type of things. So always have them prepared. You never want to go through a situation where you never prepared your buyer and now you're getting 1-star reviews on Google. Again, pros of buying an assignment. Biggest pro could be that you get your buyer into a project that's sold out that they missed out on. They really wanted to get into that one condo. They missed out on it. A year later, you know what? They stepped away. They didn't end up buying anything. But 1 year later, we get them an assignment sale. Yeah, they're paying more than they would have, but they're able to get what they want, right? Their heart wanted that, and their heart gets it. Can be cheaper than comparable resale homes. Like like I was saying, like there may be a brand new home that just closed. For example, Mapleview Park in Barrie. A lot of those homes have started to close, and you may be able to go buy one of those homes that are a little bit cheaper in the new phase coming out than it would be to buy it at the one that just closed. So the one that just closed could be $1.2 million, but the builder is selling their next phase a year out at $1.1 million. So there's always things like that where you may be saving your buyer a little bit of money here or there. What's cons of buying an assignment? Getting back into it, significant initial capital required. And the biggest thing would be is there's no changes to the contract. So the contract that the seller signed with the builder, you can't have anything changed. There's things in there that you don't like or don't agree with. Too bad, like there's nothing that can be done about it. There's no negotiation on that. And then you have to inherit all of the closing costs. So the levies, the levies, development charges, all those other taxes that go into it, you as a buyer are inheriting those.
We have one more question on here. And if you could just repeat the question after I ask. Major asked, when selling an assignment, is it plus tax or taxes in the open sale?
So when selling an assignment, is it plus tax or tax included in a resale? Depends. That is dependent on how you approach the situation as an agent, how your seller approaches the situation, and how the buyer comes in. Those are things that could be negotiable. The best thing, Najim, I would tell you is these can get really complicated. Make sure you have a right lawyer. A lawyer is actually going to be your savior and will end up doing more of the negotiation for you than we will. Yeah, a lawyer would be necessary, and it's really dependent, Najim. It could be included in, or it could be you're still paying it after. Biggest thing, I'm going to get back into it, is assignment fees. The reason these matter is because an assignment fee is you're paying it to the builder that, hey, we're going to assign everything out. But it's also important because, like I said, again, if you're only making a $50,000 profit, do you really want to pay $10,000 to the builder? And then you got to pay your agent $15,000 for selling it. You're walking away with $25,000. Is it really worth it at that point? So these type of things goes back to you doing your research as an agent and making sure you're getting your client something that you truly believe in, that they could get good ROI on. So I know a lot of people ask, and this is a big question for agents and a big question for buyers. what are the typical phases in pre-con launches and what does it really even mean, right? So every developer is different, but for the most part, the prices will increase as the selling of the phases progresses. VIP is meant for family, friends, company employees, and platinum agent partners clientele. So for example, when Menke's was launching Festival Phase 1, I was working with VIP agents at that time. And basically, in the background, they sold a lot of the best units, the family, friends, company employees. Then they allocated units out to VIP teams such as ourselves, allowed us to call all our clientele, bring our clientele into the sales office 1 week before it went public and any other realtor had access to it. That's what it means when they say VIP launch. It's an exclusive access and it's exclusive for your clientele if you're in that sort of circle and network. But then after that, that's when it sort of gets into the public launches of now we're in phase 1, open to public. First allocation of the first allocation of units that were not sold within the VIP phase will get sold in phase 1 with a little bit more additional units added to it. Phase 2 is the next set of allocated units for this release, but now they've added appreciation. Let's say you bought a unit at $700,000 in phase 2, that same unit may be $750,000 now because they sort of just go as the market goes, right? And then exactly same thing would happen with phase 3, and it sort of just goes on and on and on. Really depends on how many units are being sold, how many homes are being sold, and how the builder wants to market it and plan it out. Usually builders plan it out within the first 2 phases. Once it's done, they'll be able to start building and they have enough initial capital to get themselves into it. Rule of thumb is usually when it's a condo, builder will start breaking ground and foundation after they've sold 60% of their units. Oh, and I forgot to mention, every phase, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 will have a VIP phase before they go into the public launch. So it'll be VIP phase 1 and then VIP phase 2 and then VIP phase 3. This is a big one. Mortgage commitment letter, worksheet, APS. My first question is, does anybody know what a worksheet is? Worksheet versus APS? Nope. Yeah. Worksheets, actually, the best thing to do is you as an agent, you're never going to be able to get to the next step without a worksheet. When you present a buyer with a worksheet, it might scare them that I'm signing something, am I obligating myself to a contract? No, it's not that. You need to specifically let them know that this worksheet needs to be filled out. And usually what a worksheet is, it will put all the buyer's information, their occupation, some FinTrack stuff done with it, along with what are your top 3 choices. Which ones do you want? I want, let's say, B203, B204, B205. Those are my top 3 options. You rank them. Great. You give me your worksheet. I take my worksheets. I go to the builder. Be like, I know I have allocations, but these are what I need. Right? Because the builder will be like, hey, Dylan, we're going to give you 5 allocations, but they won't tell you what we're going to give you. You need to go take your worksheets that, hey, this is what my clients want. Please get me them. That's sort of what a worksheet is. Your buyer is never obligated to make that purchase, and you need to make them very much aware that, hey, this is just for us to see what we can get you, and you can make the decision from there. Again, a rule of thumb would be when you're cold calling, the rule of thumb is 100 contacts for 1 lead, or when you're door knocking, it's 50 door knocks for 1 lead. Sort of those numbers. We all run in a numbers game, right? The general rule of thumb is every 4 worksheets will equal 1 signed contract. So just to put it a little bit more into perspective, if you get a worksheet, don't start celebrating, popping champagne that you just got a deal done. Nothing's done until it's on paper and the 10-day cooling period's done. So yeah, but usually also when you're done all that and you have a signed contract, the next thing the builder's going to ask you is for a mortgage commitment letter. That's when you go to our wonderful mortgage broker, Haley, and they write you a commitment letter saying that this lender will commit to this person 4 years down the line. It's somewhat like a pre-approval, but there's not the commitment level that there is for a pre-approval where the mortgage lender is like obliged to hold down to this. It's more for the builder to know that, hey, if we had to close this today, they'd be able to get the mortgage. what happens when a project gets canceled? I'm sure people have asked you this before and you've probably wondered it yourself. First and foremost, obviously going back to what I said, is the builder reputation. If you know this builder's a AAA, like there's probably like a 98% chance it's not going to get canceled unless like something just goes south and it's something they never expected. Biggest one is obviously Terry on warranty. If it's a Terry on warranty, if they have Terry on warranty and the builder gets canceled, like you're covered, right? It may be a process, it may be a headache, but always let them know, especially if it's a Terry on approved builder, that you'll be okay. Um, there has been times where projects have been canceled. Recently in 2016 in Vaughan, there was a project that got canceled there. And I know people have started getting their money back, but I know there's also people that still haven't got their money back. It can be scary, but also like you have to be sort of aware of these things. But if you're working with a AAA builder or even a AA builder, like it's not going to happen unless like they just don't account for it at all. The project that got canceled in Vaughan in 2016, that builder never accounted for what appreciation and labor costs were going to go up. They aggressively priced it at that time at $550 a square foot, and Vaughan then was selling at $700 a square foot. So you can just sort of see where they went south and where everything went wrong. They got all their money and then they realized we don't even have enough money to break ground right now. So it was a shit show, and it can happen, and always let them know. But otherwise, let's get away from the negative. So what to know when buying an assignment. Actually, I already went through this. We could go to the next one. Okay, so let's talk about new builds versus existing homes. Firstly, it could be your price, down payment difference, warranties, variety, HST. Going all into this, like down payment difference being you have a deposit structure. You can financially plan yourself where you don't need that 20% right away. You have warranties, as mentioned, Terry on warranty. It covers you for the first 2 years. And then I think 5 or 7 years. You guys probably know, I'm forgetting exactly what it is. The variety, the customizability. But then like exactly what it is in a new existing home is it's a greater degree of assurance. You get to see what you're buying. You know what you're buying, right? You can negotiate a closing date. You can't really negotiate a closing date with the pre-construction. The closing date is when the builder tells you we're closing it. More accurate carrying costs. You can act like you could, if you're buying investment properties, you can literally put in your property analyzer calculator and figure out is the cash flow property and exactly how much is going to cash flow. Can't do that really with pre-construction because we don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. And there's you know what, in the resale market, there is a greater variety. You're going to find homes that are unique. You're going to find other things that you won't find in a typical new construction project unless you're working with a custom home builder. Next slide, please. So this will start tailoring into all of us as agents. What can you do to become a platinum agent? What did I do where, you know, builders will call me, be like, hey, we have this project coming out. Do you want 2-3 units? Your builder, do you have any clients for it? First thing I did was I had originally partnered up with VIP agents, and then I started learning from them. The next thing I did is I started finding builders that had projects that were already selling. I would call those builders. It's been in public. It's all released. It's public information. Hey, can you send me? It's what they call a hot list. A hot list will be they have 50 units left over, and it's really open to anybody to go grab and sell them. Now, Dylan's going to go. He's going to go look at that hot list and sell 5 of these units. Now you sold these 5 units that the builder was sort of struggling to sell. They're like, oh, great. Dylan can sell. Let's bring him on the next one. Let's give him allocations. If he could sell our units that are called the leftovers, why can't he sell the units that everybody wants, right? That's a really great way to get into it. What's another way you can look for getting into pre-construction, becoming a platinum agent? Find smaller builders and establish relationships with them through meetings. I mentioned right now we have Michelle Terzis. She's working with a smaller builder in Milton, and she's partnered with them. We also have Mike Russo. Team Russo, they always have the Dreamland homes, and he's literally partnered with the smaller builder, and he has established a relationship that he could do pre-construction homes. He could sell pre-construction homes because he's established a relationship with someone who's smaller looking to become a bigger builder eventually. When the Dreamland homes ends up expanding, Mike Russo already has that relationship. He's going to be their number one go-to guy. Another thing is, wait for your brokerage to have exclusive access. In the back end, we're all working on it to bring some stuff to this brokerage. So I'll assure you guys on that for sure. But yeah, like, or even let's just say like a story John Brock once told me is he had a client that was looking to make a purchase for a specific project, and it was packed. It was, I think, 1,000 homes and 5,000 people had interest in it. He called the sales rep at the site office, and he's like, my client really wants a specific home, blah, blah, blah. They're like, we can't guarantee it, all this. But what did John do? He went ahead, like he took initiative, bought a bouquet of roses. I swear you can ask him this story, sent to the sales rep, and she ended up getting his client exactly the unit they wanted. So do things that make you stand out. Exactly what I said. Go sell those hot list units, the leftovers, the people that the platinum agents that don't want to sell, they don't care, they don't want to push us to their clientele. You go push it to people. And I don't mean be pushy, but explain to some buyers why it might be a good opportunity for them to get it, right? It may be a first-time buyer that's looking to get a unit for them to move into in a year. Hey, this is a great opportunity. Like, this will be ready in a year. You still have your deposit structure, all the incentives are still there. And to end it off, these are some builders I've worked with in the past. These aren't exactly builders like Baker, Intuition, International Houses. They're not builders. Those three are specifically real estate brokerages that are partnered with plenty of builders, but they bring all the projects together. They put it into a portal for platinum agents. And basically, if you work at Baker, when you go to a sales center and there's a sales rep there, it'll be a Baker sales rep. They don't sell real estate like we sell real estate. They aren't the platinum agents. They are a company to represent builders and have the sales site agents over there. So what you can do is you can go to Baker, you can register on their broker portal, and you can get within all the projects that are coming out, selling now, and you can get all those hot lists you're looking for to figure out which ones you could sell. Same with Intuition Realty and International Homes. They're sort of like go within the same spectrum that they work with outside agents. They make outside agent platinum agents, but they're sort of in-house for multiple builders just for them to work together. Another one is also Cornerstone Marketing. They're really good as well. And then I've worked specifically with Center Court, Tridel, Menkes. I've worked with these builders before. Fernbrook Homes. I've had these relationships established with them where I've done enough sales over there where they'll call us and they'll be like, we have 2-3 units. Like, are you have any clients to sell them? But yeah, like it's open for questions, whatever you guys want to ask. I'm more than an open book right now.
We do have one question, and then we'll open it up to the floor. Someone did ask me again, just repeat the question. Someone asked, how does remuneration work when your client is purchasing a Precon from a builder? Is it less or typically the same as a resale?
Sorry, repeat that.
Sorry. How does remuneration work when your client is purchasing a Precon from a builder? Is it less or typically the same as resale?
Commission. Okay. Typically commission for freehold is 2% co-op. Condos is 4% co-op. 4% is nice, right? So yeah, it really depends on the builder. Honestly, there's builders out there that you will go sell a $2 million home that will give you $10,000. It really does depend on per person, really who they're working with, what they're looking to do. But again, rule of thumb is condos, downtown Toronto, GTA condos are 4% co-op, and freehold homes will be 2% co-op. There's also situations like, let's just say that you aren't able to get the VIP, whatever you're looking for. Your client really wants that phase 1 unit. They really want something. Go find a platinum agent. They will get your client that unit, and they'll take a referral fee. So you'll take home 3% and they'll keep 1%. It's a win-win scenario. You're getting your client exactly what they're looking for, and you're still getting paid out 3%. So The only thing to keep in mind though, it is not now money, it is future money. So when the 4%, you probably would get paid 2% within 6 to 8 months and the other 2% on closing. It's nice and not nice. It's nice because you always know there's money down the line that you can literally set yourself up for $200,000 in 1 year and go on vacation and still know you'll get that money. But there's also the thing that I just sold 10 units. Fuck, I ain't gonna see my money, like, or at least half the money till like 4 years down the line. So there's pros and cons to both those sides.
Any questions in the rest of the
Quiet bunch. Yeah.
How do you find out future development, like what you said is going on in that?
Yeah.
How do you-
So it's about looking, like, doing your research. Like, Google is my friend, like, you just look into it. But typically the best way to say it actually is there's always sales centers, and if you want to take your client, best thing maybe you could do is find a hot list project and go to a sales center. The sales center, the reps that are there will know exactly what's going on. They'll explain to you what's going on. If you're looking for yourself, usually going to the municipality's website and looking for what proposals are in, what's already been approved, just looking up for articles, things like that. Like recently I just read an article about like the Stanley Tower, the tallest tower coming in Niagara Falls, and I'm just keeping up on the process of that and what the approvals are and how the permits are going and things like that. So typically there's not like a general answer I could give you. It's more so just maybe going to a municipality's website, seeing what's going on there, or finding a news source that specifically targets towards what's going on in that municipality, and you can sort of figure out what's going there. Like for Pickering, like when they announced the casino is like a big thing, right? It was in Toronto Star, things like that. And usually when those approvals and sites come, there's permits and other approvals coming for condos or other residential along with it.
We do have another question on this issue. Someone asked, is there any other sites that you would recommend besides Buzz for us to look at Precon and contact the builders?
So is there anything else besides Buzz Homes that you could look at? Yes and no. Like, you could look at RealNet, that's through Treb. I don't like how it's laid out. I personally think Buzz Homes is great. If you see something on Buzz Homes, don't rely on Buzz Homes to tell you when it's releasing. Take the initiative to call that builder, figure it out, and just make those phone calls. But if you're just looking for a place to figure out what's coming out, what's selling now, I think Buzz Homes is a great platform. But if you're looking for something else, there's also like Condos Pro. There's also RealNet that's based off Treb, but you may not like it. It's not the most visually appealing thing. Like, you'll see like a list of like 1,000 things and you're just scrolling through it and you'll be like, what the hell is this, right? So it's a lot easier to filter things through Buzz Homes. And personally, I use Buzz Homes. Or another thing that you could do, like I mentioned, is you could register within the broker portals: Baker, Intuition Realty, International Homes, Cornerstone Marketing. Go register with their broker portals and they'll consistently give you updates. What's going on, what's coming. Just log in consistently. You could see what's happening as well. And actually, I just want to cover one more thing, getting back into it, is about the sales centers. Greatest thing about sales centers is you can call sales centers and book agent previews. You can book agent previews. You can go there and a sales rep that's working for the builder will walk you through everything and explain to you exactly what's going on. You could shoot videos there. And basically you can study and basically figure out what's going on. And then when you go and you start making phone calls, you can just start banging out the facts because you know them. Or you could take your clients there and you could take a back foot and just let the sales rep there walk your client around, because they'll know exactly what's going on and they're not there to poach your clients. They're just there to make sure they get the deal done, right? So there's so many things. It's in this part, I think it just in our industry, it just comes to taking initiative, going to do things that maybe not everybody's doing. Like the John Brock story, the roses always stands out. That, geez, like a bouquet of flowers is what got his client something, right? Like skipping out 4,999 people and getting the one unit she wanted. So like, try to find ways to make yourself stand out. Yeah, really, there's so much you can do, and not a lot of people are doing it, to be honest.
any more questions in this room? Okay, so we have another one. I think we might have touched on this a bit, but someone is asking, also, do you mind explaining a bit about the closing costs associated with Precon? I've heard stories from ranging from 5 to 10%, and sometimes the lawyer even asks your client to see a specialized lawyer to break down the fees. Might come in a little late, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing. Things to look out for are unexpected costs would be your HST, your development fees, your levy fees. Like I mentioned before, that this can that's the best way to put it is 5 to 10% of what your purchase price was. And that's a lot. If you're already putting 20% down and now I have to pay another 10%, like just be aware, be prepared for these things because it can get costly. On if your client believes that they're going to spend 20% and that's going to be it, they're going to get their mortgage. Sorry to say, but they're shit out of luck. It's not. It's going to be a lot, right? And that comes down to you, the mortgage broker, the lawyer, all as a team, financial advisor, figuring it out. Is there a way that we can account all these costs in the purchase price, right, Haley? Can we make it? Can we like do something where it all comes down and it's all one purchase price? Can we get finance for that 10% for closing costs? It's possible, but it's possible, but not always possible, right? It just really depends on what's happening, what the situation is, and again, like it's really tough to say because there could be a project that you close and it costs you $20,000 to close it, and the next one costs you $120,000 to close it. Big difference, right? So it's always just being prepared for those. Obviously, when you're getting into the contract, you already sort of know what you're purchasing because it's all laid out within the contract. And that's why you have that 10-day cooling period, is to go sit down with your broker, your financial advisor, and lawyer, and let's run through all of this. Let's figure out when it comes time to close it, exactly how much money I'll need.
That's all. Do you want to just reiterate that if anyone has any more final questions?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, any comments, concerns, feel free to let it out. If you want to message me privately after, feel free to do that as well. I think Stevie will send out the slideshow. Sorry about it being reversed for you guys. But yeah, otherwise, anybody's got any other questions or comments, I'm here. See?
With the levies and the levies that we put in, but it's typically be more expensive in the first phase than say the third phase.
No. Yeah, so she asked if the levies and development costs will be more expensive from phase 1 to phase 3. Typically not. No. The only things that are going to start becoming different in cost is going to be the price of the actual unit. And another thing that's gone up generally the past few years has been parking. Like parking used to cost $50,000 downtown. It costs $120,000 downtown now. So yeah, those are the insane things, but development and levy fees, no, it will stay the same generally. Like I said, for condos, usually how they cap it is they say the lower floors will be $12,000 and the higher floors will be $15,000. Dylan? So builder ratings, usually if you're just looking into the builder himself, if it's a AAA builder such as Center Court or Tridel or Menkes, you'll know they'll promote it all the time. That's like my rule of thumb. It's just go to the builder website. If they're promoting themselves as a AAA builder, like, or if they are a AAA builder, they're gonna let you know they're a AAA builder. If they're not telling you they're a AAA builder, there's the red flag. Go do your research, figure it out. What happened, right? I don't want to shit on any builders right now because I do have relationships with people. So, yeah, I think that's the best way, because anytime like Center Court does a project, AAA builder only in the industry for 10 years, or when Menkes does a AAA builder, like they push it. They let you know they're a AAA builder. If they're not pushing that, then you got to go look into it, right? Like someone like Mattamy Homes that had a problem last year, but Mattamy Homes still is a AAA builder though, right? So people may remember the situation that happened last year that was going all around social, but they still considered a AAA builder for reasons being that they've never really had canceled projects and all their stuff is good, right? But yeah, that would typically be the rule of thumb, is they're going to promote themselves as a AAA builder. And then if you really do like have a concern, you could always go to Tarion website.
I think if we don't have any more questions in this room, I think we're all good. Jason, you did incredible.
Thank you
so
guys.
much, so much information.
Appreciate it. Thought I was-
I'm gonna end this Zoom. I'm gonna respect everyone's time to end this Zoom. Obviously, you guys feel free to still want to chat and ask questions. Great session. Thanks.
Is it 3 o'clock?
You're like right on the money.
Oh, nice.